our mentors. They're ancients. They say we are going to use the word God and Creator back and forth, meaning the same. Okay? There is a hierarchical order from everything that we don't quite understand. This is somewhat of the order: the Creator, the light beings, the ancients, and it goes down all the way to angels, which are the worker bees. Okay? And there's many councils and different things in between, which we haven't learned all this yet. We're just beginning to understand how everything is in order, much more order than we presumed. Source is where the intense communication, the high-level understanding is released. I'm going to stop to think about what truly is source. How can I touch source? How can I understand what's going on? There's more to around us than we think. Everything we see isn't as it is. How do I get in touch with who I am? Many people have said that. Probably everybody in here has said it one time or another. I'd like to know who I am. Through meditation, you can learn this, but you don't learn it overnight. How many rode the bike first time perfect, a bicycle, when they got on and just went down the street, rode it perfect, didn't fall down, didn't do nothing? Nobody I know of. So it takes time to learn to ride a bike. It takes time to learn how to meditate correctly.
So these are communication structures. It's an unseen web. If you get on the internet, you can plug in dark matter. It'll give you a picture of this network of what is seen under special lights. I'm not sure what kind of lights, but it's not something that we can see to the visual eye. The neuronet and the source are very similar. It's just a network that we can tap into at the lower levels, and we're going to get into a little bit more of how they work and how it interfaces with our own bodies, so that you understand how you can get a picture of how that all fits together.
So can I go take a class, 1 month class in meditation? And I can come out, I'm ready to go, right?
Kind of.
It took us 8 years. 8 years before we begin to understand the meditation and to learn how to do it correctly. And even today, when I go into meditation, I don't get something every time I go into meditation. I could get dark gray, light gray, I can get blue, I can get green, I can get yellow, I can get white. So maybe twice a week now, I might get something. Someone says, "Oh yeah, I'll go into meditation right now and get something." I'm a skeptic. That's why I was a firefighter. So getting true words, true meditation, you have to learn patience. And they said I did very well, but I'm still learning patience. They told me I have to learn patience, and all of us, even today, haven't learned patience. And there are very few mentors, or those that, such as Buddha, Jesus, different ones, Yogananda, that learned patience. We're still on the road to try to learn these things.
And the ones he just mentioned are the true light workers. So he was talking about the colors. The colors are what he sees when he's in meditation. So when he first closes his eyes and he goes into a meditative state, it's going to be black or dark gray or gray. Those are quantum fields that there's not enough direction, and there's for it to be reliable. So when you start to meditate, what you want to do is, clear the mind, and it takes work. You have to keep bringing your mind back, clear it, and then you're looking for colors. You want to move out of this gray, you want to move out of the black, which are these various fields that don't really have truth to it. And then you look for these colors that start appearing. And that's when you're going to have some sort of a level of accuracy in what you are hearing in your mind when you start receiving communication. Now, the way that Source works is that the higher entities will tap into Source and get the information, and then they can digest it and diffuse it down for us and tell us what that means. We can't tap into the Source yet because, one, the energy level is too high. It would burn our neurological system up. Two, the information is too complicated. So the way that I like to explain it is, if you were going to college, you wouldn't walk into a fourth year chemistry class without ever having chemistry before in your life. The same works in the spiritual realm. You have to start out taking little steps at a time. As you learn and you raise your vibration, you are able to, your body and your psyche is able to handle a higher level of energy and a higher intellectual level that mirrors that energy. So as this energy is coming through the body, as you're channeling it, it comes into the body, it's going to have various levels of intensity to that energy, and it will equal the intellectual properties of that communication. You have to start out low and you work your way up. The body has to adapt to it, and mentally you have to be able to assimilate that information. So you have source entities that will tap into source, or they have innate knowledge. The ancients were created at the beginning of time as we know it. They were given innate knowledge. Their purpose is to spread that understanding to certain people that have been designated to be receivers, and then they disseminate the information out from there. So
the grid, the energy grid, forms the walls of the neural net. Everything has to have parameters. If you don't have parameters, it goes out and dissipates itself. So the light has parameters. It has a channel in which it travels. It calls the plasma cord. How does it work? Deep meditative state raises our vibration, and they told me, it is difficult for us to come down to talk to you in your language. Your language is terrible, they told me. The English language is terrible. So it takes effort for me to go up and then come down. In order to find out who you are, you have to go within. And you have to raise your vibration up to find out who you are. Not everything comes from the ancients. Many of it comes from a higher self. We are a computer. We put a program into ourselves, and we play that program over and over and over, from childhood up until when? Till we finally want to get rid of it. Okay? So our computer holds all this information. So we are the computer that can gain knowledge, and it has a big storage capacity. How do we want to use a computer? How do you use your computer at home? You dump the stuff you don't need. Right? So now you got to figure out how to dump the stuff that's been hanging on to you ever since childhood. Once you can dump your fears, once you can dump that old stuff, you can begin to clear yourself to a higher level of vibration.
So we're gonna be talking about some things that are gonna rub you wrong in a certain way, because over the thousands of years that man has been on this earth, man has morphed information. We have taken the original information that was given to us, and maybe we didn't quite understand it, and we have tried to fill in the blanks, and we've added on to it, and we noticed that certain things are what they are, and we try to explain those things. And in that, what we have done is we have created a state of misperception. That's all you can say. So from time to time, those misperceptions have to be corrected so that we can reinstill balance. You've all, I'm sure, heard about balance, how important it is to be in balance. Now, all these concepts have a mathematical equivalency. Math is an integral part of all of creation. It is the language of God. As we learn, we have those vibrational attunements, but we also mathematically correct as we're doing it. And so when we have this period of time that we're in now, and our misperceptions are very vast right now, we have to have a correction, and it has to be a mathematical correction. So we're being told that some of these concepts are going to be different from what you have heard in your lifetime. And so try to keep an open mind, because we are being told that we have to correct mathematically, and we have to bring balance into our understanding of these concepts.
Talk about a new term called the quilarium flap. And when we brought this up, some people said, oh, we just call that the flap. We didn't know this existed. The quilarium flap and the chi, we've been having many discussions. How many know what the chi is? Yeah, that's the energy source right here. If you've ever taken martial arts, you can talk about the chi. We're talking about, is the chi here or is it quilarium flap? And the quilarium flap is quite something, because it controls access to the nervous system. What kind of nerve is back here?
That's your solar plexus. So we had talked about earlier how you can't really plug into the source directly because it would fry your neurological system.